Hi everyone, my name is Anita, and today I will be presenting my interview with Dr. Yu-Ting Su. I am very excited to talk about my interview with her, and her interest work is totally aligned with my area of research, and I'll have to thank Dr. Correa Torres to give me this introduction. So Dr. Yu-Ting Su is a program coordinator and assistant professor at San Francisco State University in the Department of Special Education and Visual Impairments. Her current roles, she wears three hats. One is she is a TVI and a certified orientation mobility specialist. Like me, she is a teacher of students with visual impairments, but she is a part-time contractor in Bay Area school districts. She is the program coordinator and assistant professor at San Francisco State University, and so she basically trains TVIs. And then she is also a technology education consultant and production manager at Touch Graphics. So as a technology education consultant, she helps in developing education products that are accessible by students with visual impairments. Dr. Ting's expertise, her main focus is to understand the pedagogical needs of diverse learners in order to adopt tools and technology that support learning. Her background is mainly serving students with visual impairments, deafblindness, and multiple disabilities. However, it doesn't stop there. Her focus of support extends to parents and teachers. Her role as a direct service provider as a TVI, as a personal preparation educator in post-secondary education, and as a technology consultant. Her area of focus is to translate research-based approaches to classroom application and student adoption. And that's where my interests align with Dr. Ting's. How do we make our classrooms more accessible using technology and by translating research-based approaches to classroom application. Dr. Ting's publications, there are several, but I read these six of her work. The first one, which I totally enjoyed reading, was the Virtual Water Cooler, the Ecology of an Online Community of Practice to Support Teachers in Formal Learning. This was her doctoral dissertation. It was 100 pages long, so it was pretty long. It took me some time to read, but I totally could relate to her, to the need for this kind of research. And the other publications are great, and it helps me understand more about how technology can help improve inclusive practices in classrooms today. So in this presentation, I will be mainly focusing on something called the community of practice. What was her dissertation. So we talked a lot about community of practice over the phone. So we talked about mainly three areas. What is community of practice, and why is community of practice is used for teachers of students with visual impairments to be technology proficient, and how is it going to be used. So if you see this picture, it is like kind of a Venn diagram. So it has three main domains. And before we talk about the domains, what is COP? A community of practice describes the relationship between a teacher and his or her professional support network through which he or she receives continuing professional development. So this means is it's kind of like if we are stuck in our profession, who do we ask? Do we have a professional support network? And it mainly contains three domains, three dimensions. The first is the domain of interest. So you want to be members of the COP that has a common collection of knowledge. For example, as a TBI, I wouldn't want to be part of a COP of SLPs or SSN. You would like to have a common collection of knowledge, and you would want a community, which is like members interact with one another by sharing ideas, posing questions, and responding to others' issues. And the last dimension is the practice. Members leverage information obtained from COP into their day-to-day teaching practice. So how are we going to use the information that we gain from a COP into our teaching practices? Why? So we are going to talk about the why of the community of practice COP in relation to technology proficiency. So technology skills is, as per her research and the research that she has quoted in her work, is directly linked to post-secondary and employment outcomes. We know that without technology, you want to make your students technology proficient. And in order to make your students technology proficient, the first step is for you to be proficient in whatever you're teaching. And there is a huge digital divide in education, from availability of tools to the ability of teachers to integrate technology in the classroom. And this gap is becoming bigger because technology is moving at a faster pace, and teachers are not able to catch up with the latest technology. How do we integrate that technology into our classrooms? And then students specifically, I will be talking with visual impairments because that's my area of focus, is need timely and independent access to instructional materials via mainstream and assistive technology. Although I will be focusing on students with visual impairments, but I think this applies with all students with disabilities. And there has been research indicating chronic underuse of technology by TBIs. TBIs are not using technology as much as the general ed population, general ed teachers. And then now the how piece, we did the what and the why, and the how can online COP help TBIs to be technology proficient. And this is Dr. Ting's main area of focus in her work. So she talks about something called Web 2.0 technology, and that is what Web 2.0 technology means. It encapsulates many current and emerging online programs like listservs, blogs, podcasts, and social networking sites like Twitter and Facebook. It's different from Web 1.0 media because the Web 1.0 media is static, and it's like a digital brochure without a comment box. So you don't interact with the Web 1.0 media, but we do interact with Twitter. We post comments, we kind of get information from them. So her idea, Dr. Ting's idea, is to use a platform such as Twitter or Facebook or listserv or a blog to help teachers, specifically TBIs, to be technology proficient. And how she does it is because TBIs are most often, they're itinerant teachers. They go around schools and they maintain caseloads that commonly change year to year. So her main research is to leverage this Web 2.0 tools as a form of COP for TBIs. Her work mainly aims to capture how informal interactions with other members of the COP help TBIs to transfer general information about assistive and accessible technology to proficiency in implementation. As an example, I'm not a social media person, but after reading her dissertation, I signed up for Twitter and I started following her, and her feeds in Twitter gave me some suggestions for technology, using some technology apps for my students who are blind, and I mean completely implemented that in classrooms, and everybody is like totally blown away with that piece of technology. If I didn't subscribe to Dr. Ting's Twitter, maybe I would have learned in our annual state conference, or I don't know. I mean, I might have learned, or I might have not learned. So it is just going to be helpful for me to be part of a community, because I will be learning about some kind of a normal interaction with another TVI. You learn something new and then you apply it in your practice. That's her idea. The term on-demand professional development. There is a person sitting in a chair with a sign that says help wanted. We've all been in this situation where we need professional suggestion at moments, especially when we are dealing with technology in classrooms. How do we make this work? How do we make this piece of accessible technology, how do we make it work if it doesn't work? Who do we ask when we need help with technology issues in classroom? According to Dr. Ting, teachers should know who to ask, and most importantly, should be a great Googler, which is practical. That's what we all do. We just Google. And then a key to membership of a COP is to identify the COP. What kind of COP that is most appropriate for teachers' needs? Are you a Twitter person? Are you a Facebook person? You find the appropriate Facebook group that is most common with your interest area, with your shared knowledge of expertise. And then being an expert in all devices in the market and keeping up with the pace of technology trends in education is impossible and unreasonable expectation for one individual. Hence, participation in a COP is practical and solves the problems of an on-demand professional development. The other thing we talked about is the situated learning. What is situated learning, and how do we do teacher buy-in for technology? I've always noticed like teachers just do not buy into new technology. Maybe it is too complicated and cumbersome to do it on a day-to-day basis. Dr. Ting's work suggests TVIs to create a workflow in the context of using technology to motivate teachers to use technology in classrooms. For example, like I learn best by seeing somebody do. So examples of practice, that is what she terms it as situated learning. For example, I can give you a quick example. We had a device called a Braille No Touch. It's a refreshable Braille device used by students who are blind. And so simply showing teachers the various functions of a BNT through in-service training is not going to empower them to use the device in their classrooms. A video of how can a BNT help a student access a spelling test that is more contextual, more specific, and empowering for both students and teachers to use the BNT in classrooms. So you want to make sure the teachers understand the utility of the technology in specific cases, in contextual cases, and create a workflow. And that is what Dr. Ting's work suggests. And then this is my main area of research interest. So I was asking her, what is lacking in research? Where do I need to focus my research when my ultimate aim is to improve inclusive practices using technology? Her suggestion was twofold. The first is team training, empowering the entire team, that is improving mainstream technology. How do we make accessible mainstream technology? And the second thing is the professional development of TVIs. How do we make sure TVIs understand the workflow, identify the appropriate technology, and be part of a COP for the on-demand professional development. These are my references, and I was very thrilled to talk to Dr. Yu Ting Singh, and I have all the references here, so feel free to explore her articles and her websites. I hope you enjoy enjoyed this video. Thank you. Bye-bye.